but
Recording.
I will. Awesome. I will be in the background here. So thanks, Verena. I'll let you take over.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jackie, and thank you for thank you for letting me come on and to present today. Like I've actually been offline for a little while because I have moved not only house but states. Those of you who know me, that so I've had a big transition in my life, moving, which is I'm not going to say can be, it is stressful to move houses, states, picking up your life from one city to another. But I will say, and this goes aligned with what we're talking about today, is that the struggle is real. There is struggle. But our perspective on how we see struggle can change everything. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today. And sort of, I read something just before, and it said, sometimes we think we are committed to the end result. Oh, Nikki's joining. Hi, Nikki. So I will start again because talking about struggle, honoring struggle in the right perspective. And as I said before, the struggle is real, but how we see that struggle, how we perceive that struggle changes how it shows up in our life, changes everything. So I read this from Chris Duncan. I think he posted, it was just by chance. This week, as I said, I've been moving homes, moving cities, and I've still been seeing some clients. And I was talking to a client yesterday, and she's someone I've been working with for about 18 months. And it was such a beautiful transformation of like where she came from, someone who was very much in the struggle, to someone who became the observer of her struggle and can choose a different way. And that's what I want to talk about today. And, what is our perspective of when we're all choosing that end result. We want something that there's that thing we want to create, but are we committed to the end result, or are we committed to the struggle? And this is where it can be confusing because, so much of our ancestry, so much of how we're brought up in the belief systems are around struggle. And it's been a conversation I've been having with many people over the last couple of weeks about struggle, about like that it needs to be hard, that it needs to, it's like I've got to be worthy of this end result. But then you're tapping into that egoic agenda that you need to be worthy of this end result, which means that your unconscious is not going to allow you to get there. Your unconscious, if you're in a belief system that struggle, that things are hard, that life is a struggle, that I must suffer for success, that there has to be some point of sacrifice and pain, what is that telling your unconscious? Is it telling your unconscious that you're not worthy, that you're not enough, that there needs to be pain? And this very much goes into a lot of ancestral beliefs that, back when things were, when we had to get water a couple of 100 years ago, we would have to walk down to the river and get water, boil the water so we didn't get sick from it, and drink it. And now we turn on a tap, or now we go to the shop and buy a bottle of water, or we have a filter, or we're just talking about struggle. The struggle is real. Yeah, the struggle is real. And it's like our perspective of how to see it. And it's like the struggle of getting water is not the same struggle that it was 150 years ago. We don't have the same problems. We don't have the same problems of worrying about getting disease, or where we're going to get it from, that we have to bring buckets or have to get the right amount to bring into our home. We don't have that. So it's like it's like we have brought a lot of that ancestral trauma, a lot of those ancestral beliefs are passed down, that success and struggle, that it has to be one of pain and sacrifice. And that's what I want to talk about today, that the struggle and challenges, you know, when we're going through transition, when we're going through transformation, when we're making massive action and big changes in our life, there are challenges. And that is where the struggle is real. There are challenges. And those challenges will bring up belief systems and things where we don't feel free. And that's where the work is. That's where we highlighted, oh, you know, this feeling of not being worthy, that's something I could, you know, that's come up again, but I'm still going to choose. Now, when we're in the creative structure, the struggle it's different. We're not looking at what the struggle is. The creative structure is genius, you know, being in the creative mindset or the genius mindset. When we're in the struggle mindset, we are in the mindset of victim. When we're sitting from where we are and where we want to be, you know, if we're coming from the mindset of looking at everything's so hard, I'm so overwhelmed with all the action steps that I have to get done, and this resistance of even acknowledging where we are now and where we want to be. And we're going to do a change process today where we're going to put ourselves in this place of, you know, where we are and where we want to be. And then when we're in the void of just choosing what we want, the creative structure is about acknowledging, and from the perspective that you can have it now. That feeling, that way of being, you can have it now. And the struggle is constantly observing that I don't have it. Does that make sense? Does that land with people when we see that difference in perspective? Now, where struggle is real and important is like, that's how we learn. You know, when we're children learning to walk, the struggle of falling down and getting back up again and strengthening those muscles, you know, the struggle of getting fit and going to the gym and changing our bodies, it is, you know, that the challenge. And maybe this is where we can change the words to, you know, it's challenging. You know, a challenge or a quest is something that we move through to get to our end result. It's the journey. But a struggle is heavy. The struggle, the word, even just using the vibration of the word struggle is so connected with a heaviness that it's hard. And some people, and this is where also I see people getting into the archetype of the wounded warrior. We get into the archetype of the wounded warrior, where the warrior is always looking for the fight. And because their identity, and this is where our identity plays such a massive role. If we're someone that is always the fight, I'm the fighter, I'm the one that just keeps going. Who are you at the end result when you've achieved that? Because if your identity is attached to the one that, you know, I hear so many people, so many clients say, you know what, I'm resilient. And I've said it myself, I'm resilient. I can just keep on going. You know, we handle the punches one after the other. You know, I handle, you know, the next thing that comes my way, I just handle it. So this is where it's not saying those challenges aren't going to show up, because that's part of it, our expansion. That's part of our human journey, is to conquer these quests and challenges. But the struggle, to be someone who struggles, to hold, to wear that badge of honor of that I'm a battler. So I know in Australia, we have a term called the Great Aussie Battler, which really is a term of saying the Great Aussie Struggler. So I know most of the people on here tonight are from Canada or the States, but it's like this collective consciousness. And I don't know if you have a similar saying in the States or in Canada, you know, this, you know, the worker, the struggler, that person is rewarded. But that if that becomes our identity, then our unconscious mind is never going to allow us to reach that end result where struggle isn't there, because who are we? What is our motivation when struggle isn't there? You know, and have we ever asked ourselves the question, who am I at the end of that result? And what's my motivation when I get there? Because that's the victim, that's the struggler. Oh, someone's waiting. Wait there, let me just see. Someone waiting to get in. Not sure. I think everyone's in.
Sorry, Verena, I can't see.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking. I thought it said someone was waiting to get in, but now I can't see them. No, that's okay. So it's like, you know, who are we at this? Oh, Samara. Here we go. Who are we when we have achieved that end result? And that's often the process we go into, the being, who, you know, the be, do, have. It's like we need to be it first, and then we know what to do, and then we can have it, instead of the do, have, be, that I'm going to do all the things, and then I'm going to have what I want, and then I will be that person in the end result. That's the victim, that's the struggling mentality. That's the great struggler. The great struggle is that I have to do all these actions. Then I will have this end result that I want, whatever it is, whether it be financial security, whether it be the house, the job, the relationship, the health condition. After I do all these things, when I struggle, then I'm going to have what I want. But that's the wrong structure. The structure is you need to be it first, the being. And the being, we believe often when we're in that end result, we will be. But we already know. When you actually, if you think about what it is that you want to create, and I want you to start thinking about it now, because that's what we're going to work with in the second part of this session. What is something that you want to create? What have you put on your true choices for this year, for 2023? And what is it when you're at the end result? Because it is like this, the wound, when I was talking about the wounded warrior before, it's like the badge of honor of struggling, of always being in war. Who is the wise warrior? And this is working with archetypes. The wise warrior and the healed warrior is the one who is the strategist, who is the one that he's moving towards peace, not war. Peace is the goal. Inner peace, you know, is the goal. And it really is for everything, you know. And when we're in inner peace, then we find a nice creative. We just keep creating. We just keep moving on. It's not when I get this house, I will be happy. When I go on that holiday, when I retire, when I have that partner, I will be, you know, then I will find myself. It's a constant journey. And when they say it's not about the destination, it's the journey, well, it is both. And the journey is our growth and expansion, and it's how we delve into and explore who we are and love who we are, always moving towards that end result, because that is growth and expansion. The struggle that when I get to the top of the mountain, I'm going to feel happy, and you know, this is like such a false premise for so many. I'm going to climb the corporate ladder, and when I get to the top, I'm going to feel whole and complete. And we all know those stories, whether you've experienced yourself or spoken to others, that when they get there, they're like, oh, I thought it would be different, because you're the same person. The true journey was that I actually created this. I chose it. I created it. I loved it. And so that's when we move from struggle to fun and joy and bringing in the game of life. And this is what I've been talking to so many people about lately, and also implementing it in my own life, like making big changes. And there has been challenges, but the challenges are growth and expansion, and you know that you're creating. And when you're in that mindset, in that perspective, when you're in the genius mindset of, you know, when challenges arise, and they will arise, that I can handle this, and this is part of my creative journey. This is part of me growing and expanding. So who are we at the end of the struggle? And what is the struggle feeding us? Do we feel like things are a struggle? Like I've spoken to quite a few successful people that have come to their end result, and they're like, well, now where's my motivation? And so it's like they have to find this whole new struggle, have to find this whole new way of being. So, and some people won't even get to that end result because it all depends on them staying in the identity of the victim or staying in the identity of the struggle. And this is part of the human journey too. And as we grow older, like as I said before, when we were learning how to walk, we fell over and we got back on, got back up, and when we're strengthening our muscles, we know there's an end result, but there's always more. And then there's always maintaining. You know, when you get your body into the condition you want it to be, it's never like, well, it's done now. It's like, well, now I get to maintain it. Now it's no longer, you know, challenging. Now it's fun. Now I can start exploring these other parts of my body and have more energy. And, you know, so we're always growth and expansion. And that's the difference between the struggle. The struggle is like, when I sacrifice something, I'll be worthy of that end result. And I want you to take on board that is an egoic agenda of feeling not enough or unworthy, or there needs to be sacrifice or pain. And many times this could be something that needs to be healed on an ancestral level. And it's also something, as we grow up, the struggle can get easier. We start to learn things. You know, when a child is learning how to walk, they never really think, they're just like wanting to keep moving. They want to get up. They're never sort of like, the mindset is just keep going, because I don't even know what's beyond here. It's exciting. Like when I learned how to walk, then you see those little babies when they start walking. I remember my son, there was step, 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 and then he got his balance, and then he started walking faster, and then he started running, and then he fell over or hit a wall or something. But it was you could see the excitement in their face, but they didn't really know what was next. But it was exciting to find out. They knew they wanted to move. They knew they wanted to get from A to B. And they didn't really know how it would feel to get there. Does that make sense? Does that metaphor of the child learning how to walk feel good? Do you feel like you can relate to that? Because it is something that, you know, when we get so trapped in, everyone will tell us how hard things are. We just have to turn on the news, and the news will tell us about it's harder to buy property, it's harder to do this, it's a struggle, and people are struggling, and people are always struggling. People are always struggling. People are always coming up against challenges. That's part of life mastery. How we master it is our perspective, that knowing that we can handle whatever challenge comes our way, whether it be financial, relationship, health. We're going to grow and expand, and we're going to go, okay, well, this obstacle has come in my way. What does this mean? How do I move through it? But just observing it and feeling in the struggle is heavy, and it's hard to move from there. And movement is what we're going to do in this exercise. This is it's an exercise that I haven't done for a while. So this is going to be, if anyone has any questions, just ask away. If you've got, you know, anything that I said that, you know, you think, oh, well, it's, you know, you don't know what I've been through and the struggle. Like, there are definitely challenges, and I'm not one to say that, you know, there are things where we go, oh, I want ease and flow. Well, we do want ease and flow. We want ease and flow all the time. There are going to be challenges that come to allow ease and flow. And it's that shift in perspective, that shift into the creator mind, and step into step into the and embody the creative version of you that is already in that end result. Because if your unconscious doesn't know who you are when you have overcome your challenges, or in the hero's journey, when you've slayed the dragon, when you've gone through your quests, if you don't know who you are as the healed warrior, as the wise warrior who is looking for peace and is observing strategies to maintain peace, I'll deal with war when it shows up, but I'm not going to go looking for it. It's like, who are you then? Who are you in this end result? Oh, someone dropped out. So I want you to think about, if you've got a pen and paper, or I want you to think about, what is that end result that you want to create? What is that thing? You can share it in the chat, or you can just keep it to yourself. All is good. What is that end result that you want, that you feel like has escaped you? And, maybe it's one we've worked on a lot, many times, and that's okay, because those ones are the ones that maybe we have a lot of resistance to. And we're just finding ways to move. We're taking that first step, and it's exciting. And we're taking that step and the next step and the next step. And then you start running. And then, it's like everything with life. You just get momentum. But first, we have to sort of feel the excitement, that joy, that excitement of, I don't know what's to come. I know I want to get to that destination. And I know I can do it, and I can do it really clunky, and I can fall over and get back up and fall over, and I can sit for a while, or I can do all of these things, or I can just start walking and then get my momentum and start running towards that end result. Love and inner peace. Yeah. So that's, to feel, what does that mean to you? What is that end result? And when we think something is, we've been wanting something for a long time and it hasn't shown up, we can really fall into this struggle pit, this reel of like, who am like this, this is my quest. I've got to go through all these things, these struggles. And, and you look at other people and they go, they don't seem to be going through as much as me. Well, maybe they're just choosing it. Maybe they haven't. Maybe their structure is very different to yours, and they will have challenges in other aspects of their life. But we always need to bring it back to ourselves. Don't compare. Don't judge yourself. It's like, from this point on, how through my perspective, what glasses can I put on? Am I going to put on my victim, wounded warrior glasses? Am I going to put on my genius and creator glasses? And remembering that you are a divine expression, that you are an expression of the divine, that you have that connection. When we connect to superconscious, we are connected to the infinite wisdom, and we have access to that, as everyone does. And when we remember that, then we understand that the challenges that have shown up, the obstacles, are all things that we can move, through, we can move around, we can move over, we can make them disappear, because at the end of the day, we're going to be it now. We want to be that person in the end result. And when we're focused on how hard it is to get there, when we're focused on all the struggle that is between now and then, and believe that this is part of it, then we're losing ourselves. We're losing ourselves to egoic agendas. We're losing ourselves to limited belief patterns. The challenges are there. They're not the whole story. They're just part of it. And we can move through them. And, when you think about after you've been through those big challenges, as we all have been through life challenges, whether it be health, relationships, financial, you can look back and you can see how you've grown. I said to someone the other day, she said, I feel like I'm starting over again, which many of us are. We are. Like, at the moment, I'm starting over in a new city, but I'm starting over with experience. I'm starting over with with knowledge, connection, very different. I've moved back to a city I lived in 10 years ago, and I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. I'm coming back with so much more, you know, a lot of experience, a lot of information that I'm going to bring to this new way of life, and you will too. Where you're starting today in creating that end result that you want, you're not starting over, you're starting with experience. And so the experience that you've had in the challenges that you've experienced in your life are going to add to how you move through things. You don't have to, it doesn't have to take you as long to get there again. There is another metaphor, I think, it wasn't Wayne Dyer, but he repeated the story, which is a beautiful story about there was a woman who went down the road and she fell into a hole, and it took her a long time to get out of it. And eventually she got out of the hole, walked down the street, turned the corner, came down the same street, fell down the same hole. And it took her a while, not as long, to get out of it next time. She got out of the hole, she went around the street, she walked down the same street, she fell into the hole, couldn't believe she's here again. How did I get here again? And she got straight out of the hole. And then she walked around and walked down the same street and thought she would walk around the hole and still fell in it. She got out, came round, and then took a different street. This is our opportunity to take that different street, and the different street is a new perspective, this perspective of the creator, the perspective of the genius aspect of us that we all have. We're just choosing it because we love it. So let's get started on this exercise. So this exercise can be done as one standing up, or you can do it in your mind's eye. So I want you to choose. And in this exercise, I'm actually going to give you a pre-frame. And I know, I'm sure Jackie, because Jackie does a lot of the physical work in these sessions, but there's an exercise that you do to relax your body. And part of it is when you squeeze everything, you pull everything in really tight, your stomach, your arms, your every muscle, you're just squeezing it really tight, and then you relax it. We're going to do that in the creation process. We're going to really step into the resistance that we have, really step into what the struggle feels like, and then we're going to let it go. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 3 points in time. And I don't have a whiteboard here, but I'll draw it on a piece of paper. So I want you to imagine if you can see that. So it's a circle. So we've got our current reality where you're standing. You've got your desired reality, which is another circle. And then over here to the side, you've got the X point, which is the void, which is nothing, which is just in space, no time, no thing, no place. And I want you now, we're going to, in this exercise, we're going to, if you're in a position where you can actually stand up and do it, I would suggest it, because it's a really good exercise to step into. And if you get a chance to do this exercise again, you can. So I want you to choose, what is that thing that you want to create that you feel is really hard, like it's something that you find a struggle? And it can be anything. Maybe it's weight loss, maybe it's changing your diet, maybe it's going to the gym, maybe it's making money, maybe it's building that business, maybe it's the relationship that you haven't been able to connect with yet. I want you to think about it. You can write it down, you can type it in the chat box. And we're just going to, I'll be doing it in my mind's eye. So I'm thinking about, I want you to see those 3 points in time. I want you to see where you are now. I want you to see the end results. And I want you to see the void, which is just, let's say, the X, that void, that space. And I want you now to stand, just physically stand in your mind's eye, in your body, stand in the current reality. And in this current reality, I want you to observe that end result that has passed you by, that you haven't got yet. And I want you to observe it. And I want you to really feel the real angst and resistance. I want you to feel the struggle that you've been through and you still haven't got it yet. This thing that you've been trying to connect with, this feeling, and you're just looking at it and just feeling and really observing the distance between where you are now and where you want to be. And I want you to really feel it. And it doesn't feel good. And I want you to really feel that resistance, as if you're really clenching your body and you're just like, you're really observing it, and you're observing it. And you're observing this thing that you want that you haven't been able to resolve yet. And it may make you angry. It may bring up some emotions in you. And I want you to just honor that. And like, where is the feeling? The feeling of maybe feeling like the victim, the feeling of feeling like you're not capable, or whatever the feeling that is coming up, that feel that resistance that has held you back. This struggle, even let yourself go into the thought of, it happens to everyone else, but it hasn't happened to me. That one where you start comparing, and that doesn't feel good. And you're feeling, and you're letting this resistance, and you're feeling this resistance. And now I want you to step into the void, into the X. Just let it go. It's no longer there. You just stepped into that place of nothingness. You stepped into the void, where you become the observer. You're seeing both parts. There's nothing. And I want you now just to look at that part of you in the current reality. Is that serving you? Has that mindset, has that feeling, that tenseness in your body been able to help you create? Has it been able to help you feel inspired action or move forward? It probably has. There's probably been aspects of that have been motivational, because I don't want to feel like this anymore. But it's like you're still observing it. It doesn't feel good. Does everyone feel that? Does they hear what I'm saying with that? Does that make sense? Could you feel the relief when you stood on the X? Did you feel the relief when you stood in the void? Feel free to chime in if you've got any feedback, if you want to speak, if you want to add anything. Did you feel it? Yeah. You know, if it felt really uncomfortable and you're like, I didn't like that, that's fine. You can talk to me through that as well. Relief, yeah. When we let it go, when we just stood out of it, we're, oh, I don't have to be in that tension anymore. That tension of observing that I haven't created that yet. And now I want you to step into and embody driving. So listening, yeah, perfect, Samara. And maybe do this, you know, just listen to the process. And then when you get a chance, just do it yourself. And you'll see that it's about, right now, it's like, I don't want to feel that. But then when you step in to, now we're going to step in to that end result. I want you to step into that end result. And when we step into this end result, understand that it's the person that's already created it. There is no struggle. The challenge is done. You know, what are the emotions you feel there? Is it pride? Is it gratitude? Is it love, joy, fulfillment, confidence, peace, inner peace, love? I want you now just to close your eyes and step into that, the version of you. Step into that version of you that has already created it. And step into that version of you that's already created it. And what does she feel? Does it feel, what are the feelings in that end result? The person that's already created it isn't observing the space between, isn't observing the the difficulty of getting there, or how long. There's gratitude of getting there and overcoming the challenges. There's a lot of gratitude in feeling that, wow, I overcame that. And look at me now. And you can feel that now too. You can feel the gratitude for who you were, who you are now, and who you're becoming. Because they're all the same thing. It's all being you now. Who is the person in that end result? Who is the person beyond struggle? Who is that version of you that has just let go of all the belief systems and the needing that it needed to be? I needed that to be worthy of this. If someone handed you what you wanted now, are you ready to take it? Are you ready to embody it now? Are you ready just to step into it? And I want you now just to spend a little bit more time just feeling into that desired end result. What does it feel like? What does this version of you do? And when you're ready, I want you to step back into the void. I want you to step back into the void of no time, no thing, no place. Who am I when I don't have this anxiety? Who am I when I don't have this frustration? Just someone that is. You've just chosen it. And I want you now to step back into the current reality. Step back into the current reality. And I want you to think about how can I see this from the genius perspective, the person who's already created it? What's the excitement of getting from A to B? What's the excitement, and what is my next step? What is that excitement of feeling that? And as you step back into this current reality, does it feel different? Do you feel some of the resistance? Do you feel some of the resistance from observing what is superconscious? Do you see any of this resistance? Please tag and treat in the best and perfect way. Thank you. And I want you just to feel into that place. And just wanting it because I'm choosing it. I'm just choosing it. The struggle is I just need to choose. The challenge is I need to choose it. And that's your first step. And then as you take your next step, you know, if it's about relationships, maybe it's I just need to love myself. I need to love myself and see myself as that person. And just to feel in love. To feel freedom. And knowing that, you know, who am I at that end result? And do I know that person? Because the more familiar you become with that person who is not living in the struggling mentality or the victim mentality, the closer you become to creating that. And it is the dance. It's the dance between where we are now to where we want to be. It's about who we are. And the aspect of having faith, you know, that tension you hold in your body of observing what is not, is the block, the struggle, the feeling that you need to be in pain to receive something good. The perspective needs to be, it's got to be fun. perspective. I'm creating this. I am the creator. I'm creating this, and this could be fun. What is my next step? So I want you now just to go back into that space, step back into the current reality and observe the resistance you have now, but from the perspective of the genius, of the creator. That I just need to choose it and step into the void. From that place, step into the void and observe both parts. Observe the current reality, observe you in the end reality, and observe the difference. And from the void, can you feel what the next step is? From that void, can you feel into what the next step is? And knowing that it's part of the journey. And now I want you to step back into the desired end result. It's going to feel easier this time. It's going to feel easier to step into that. Who are you when it's already happened? Who are you at the end of struggle? Who are you when you've overcome the challenges and you've created? What's the excitement? You know, when a baby's learning how to walk, they're just pulling themselves up, pulling, standing. Oh, I stood. That's good. Next step. They just, you know, whatever goes on inside their mind, they would just want to move. They want to get from A to B in the best way possible. That's what we want to do. We want to get from A to B, from current reality to desired reality in the best and highest way. And to surrender to the innocence of knowing that I'll get there, surrender to the innocence of the genius aspect of you, the creator aspect of you, and surrendering the victim and the wounded warrior that's here for the struggle. That's made their whole journey about how hard it has been for them. It's the excitement of when I get to that end result, wow, I can create something new here. Who are you at that end result? Someone who's looking to create something new. And it's exciting, that next step. Oh, I get to my destination. Oh, I want to go over there now, so I can run over there now. So now being in that end result, standing in that desired end result, how does it feel? And you're ready to move on to the next step, the next exciting whatever it is. And I want you now to step back into your current reality and feeling, downloading, superconscious. Please treat all resistance about time. And please download the codes of patience in the best and perfect way on all levels. And come back to the current reality with the wisdom of the void, with the wisdom of being in no time, no place. Come back to the current reality and see that end result and feel into it. And then I just want you to step back into that desired end result, because you're already it. You're already there. You have the knowledge within you to be that person now. And from that person now, you can take the next step to what you need. Love and inner peace. What is it that I need to feel? What is it? What's my next step? Superconscious, please treat any resistance anyone online today has about creating their next step. Please download and resonate the metaphor of the baby walking and running. Please treat any resistance to this metaphor. Please download the understanding of this metaphor in the best and perfect way on all levels. And superconscious, please ground all memories that we've touched on today. Conscious memories, tandem memories, ancestral memories. Ego states, archetypal states. Please treat the identity of the victim. Speak to that aspect and let them know that when they join the creative genius identity, they're going to feel more love and less pain, more satisfaction and less pain. Superconscious, please treat the ancestral codes of sacrifice. That pain needs to be, that pain and sacrifice equals deserving of success. Please treat that in the best and perfect way. Superconscious, please ground memories 1, 2, and 3, conscious, unconscious, superconscious. And please ground into the benevolent matrix of the universe. Thank you. Please empower all people listening to this recording online tonight with the positive, empowering emotions of faith, love, gratitude, and hope. Please recode with new memories and remembering who you are, past, present, and future. Thank you. It is done. It is done. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And you can do this exercise where you can just step into that end result, like physically step into it and release. It's like that exercise of and then letting go. Like when you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling that you are not, that whatever you're trying to create is getting too much, step out into the void. Get the perspective of the genius, of the creative version of you. Because that version is linked to both parts, the one that before they created it and the one that created it. And you're the same person. You're the same soul, just at different parts of their journey. So know the fact that you're knowing you're getting there and that the struggle doesn't make it any better. The struggle isn't your identity. The struggle isn't the badge of honor. The perspective that I can choose this and I can create this is what is inner peace, is the end goal, is that I'm a creator. So it's not about what you're creating, it's that I can do it. I can choose to do it. I have choice to do it. And that sometimes things will come easily and I can receive that. And sometimes things will be of challenge because that's part of my growth. But the end result is the same. I can still get from A to B because I just choose it. I can get up and walk. And how I get there and the momentum I take is just with the excitement and fun that I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So I hope everyone enjoyed today's session. Happy to have feedback or anything. It is an exercise you can do again, like to actually physically step into your end result, physically embody that version of you who's already on the other side of the challenges. And think when you do start to get into that struggle mindset, what is it that I need to see differently? You know, when you turn on the news and you hear all the stuff that things are hard, how can I see this differently? And how is this on my soul's journey? How can I see it from the perspective of the creator, the creative perspective? So I hope that's helped. And Jackie, are you still on? Oh, you're driving.
I am, but that was wonderful. Thank you, Verena. That was a really cool exercise. I haven't actually done one exactly like that before. So it was really neat to just kind of step in and out. And I just felt like the kind of like the professional, the leader, and the resistance wasn't there. It was nice. That was really
Yeah,
cool.
to
It's very
feel the
insightful.
resistance doesn't have to be there. And there is that, you know, when
Yeah.
we do that exercise of clenching our body and then just releasing it, you
Yeah,
know,
it was
when
really
we're in
good.
the clenched state, we often can't think about the next step or think clearly. We can't think about momentum. We just get into this old way of thinking. But it's like, you know, to actually shift from, you know, things, there are going to be struggle. There are going to be challenges. Not, I'm not going to use that word struggle anymore. There is going to be challenges sometimes, and sometimes there won't be. And sometimes things will be easy, and sometimes they'll be challenging, and that's okay. That's all part of the growth. And you're no different in either. You're still choosing to get from A to B. That's all there is. It's like the child walking from learning how to walk. He wants to get to the other side of the room. And then when he gets to the other side of the room, he'll want to go somewhere else. And that's how we are. We'll always find something we want to create. And there's always the excitement that I got here. Let's go. Where can I go now? And when we come from that excited energy, when we come from that creative energy that I can do this, that I'm just, you know, whatever's in front of me, I'm just going to step over or round or over it. And that's not the story. The story is not about the obstacles. The story is about that I'm just getting there. I'm doing it. I'm showing up. So I hope that's helpful. I think at the beginning of the year, we're moving into February. We've had a month of January where we've either looked at our yearly goals or assessed them, or we maybe have reassessed them. And, you know, I don't want the year to be the same as before, or you get all the news on TV and you're thinking, do I need to relook at things? This is what I'm hearing from others. But it's like, let's shift our perspective. You are a creative entity. You are a direct expression of the divine. And when we can just let it go, release the tension, we can start to think what our next step is. It doesn't mean you're going to be there already, but it will show you where your next step is going to be. So much love to you all. I'm looking forward to being back on doing recodes and webinars very, very soon when I get a bit more settled in my new home. And sending love to everyone. Thank you, Jackie, for the opportunity to connect with your beautiful people. And
Sure. Thank you for being here for us, Verena.
And I look forward to connecting very soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Okay, I'll see you soon.
Good night.
Good night. Well,
all right.
good night to
Okay.
everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.